understand this. Fitness after 30 isn't optional. It's insurance. For your energy, your discipline, your mental health, you either build it now or pay for it later. No one escapes the invoice. That is from Ryan Fisher. Welcome back to the Athletic Dad Podcast. I'm your host, CT. Let's get into the episode. First of all, man, can I say we have a sponsorship? I don't know if sponsorship is the right term, but a buddy of mine started this company called Vice, VYS, and they make caffeine pouches. There are 20 pouches in each tin here, and it's 88 milligrams of caffeine in each, and you just pop this bad boy out, either throw it in your bottom lip or your upper lip. There are 3 flavors, blood orange, mint, and energy drink. All good, all really good flavors. We actually have a discount code, which is dope. vicepouches.com, and when you check out, you'll use Athletic Dad for 10% off at checkout. Sick, huh? Again, I'm a big fan of these, man. If it's something that you like and you're a caffeine guy, go ahead, go to the website and check them out. So I have a couple of shout outs to start, man. We're on a roll. We're on a really good roll. We have a lot of really great members. We just have gotten so lucky with individuals finding us and connecting with us and dedicating time to us and wanting to train with us and allow us to help them on their fitness journey. And we have just brought in some really incredible human beings over the last couple months. And I wanted to give a shout out to my guy G, who trains with us in the evenings. He mentioned he listened to the podcast, and I had mentioned to him that I have said originally that I only record when I'm inspired. And recently things have picked up and gotten busy, and we've got some other stuff going on, and I just haven't had time and inspiration to do it. And he had mentioned, well, this is basically a notice to you that you need to record it again. And I want to be that inspiration. And I thought, man, you're absolutely right. So I appreciate him for bringing that up. I appreciate him for checking the podcast out. But also, this is the type of guy where if you run a gym or you work with individuals online, and I'm in both spaces, so both online and in person, you want an entire roster of guys like this. I mean, comes in very consistently early, gets ahead of the warm-up, gets moving, always in a great mindset, always has a smile on his face walking into the gym, always brightens up the people around him, always introduces himself to new individuals who jump into the group. Just somebody that if we had 100 of these individuals, it would make for the best gym in the planet, the best gym culture in the planet. And on top of that, he's been working incredibly hard and PRing a ton. Just hit the 1,000 pound club, so 1,000 pounds between his bench, his deadlift, and his squat. I mean, the guy's just on fire. Shout out to him. I also want to give love to one of our coaches, Coach Kylan, who is a week away from having his first baby. And this guy is awesome guy, younger kid, still in college, but a week away from becoming a father. And he and his girlfriend couldn't be more excited about it. And I am finally now in a position with a 9-month-old where I feel as though I have a little bit of advice that I can give, because I was just there recently enough to remember it. And I remember when I was there. So it's nice to be able to give a little bit of positive feedback to the people that you love and the people that you care about who are about to embark on this journey. So if you're listening to this podcast, not as a father, as a future father, I appreciate you thinking ahead and understanding how important that this process is, that this part of our life is in, how important it is to do everything we can as we're younger to prepare us for this moment if we do get blessed with the ability to have children. So shout out to all the dads, obviously, who are listening, but then, shout out to everybody who's listening who's not currently a father or not a father yet. Hope I can give enough information, enough value for you to be able to have a good idea about some things when it comes to fatherhood. Again, I don't know anything yet, but then really things that you need to keep as non-negotiables, things that you need to stay consistent in, things that you need to work and continue to work hard on when you become a father, and that's your fitness and your health. And it's arguably more important then when we have kids than it's ever been. So we need to train for it like we trained when we were high school and college athletes. We need to train with intent. We need to train consistently, and we need to train with goals. And those goals are to live our longest, healthiest, most athletic, most enjoyable lives possible as we get older. I've tried to be pretty intentional with what I say on here. And I often think about when I hear people use the term busy. And I always think that's just such a funny thing to say. And I used it. I said, I have been too busy, but I've never met a dad, never met a mom, never met anybody who works incredibly hard in the pursuit of something great who is not busy. And it's so easy to use the term to describe a state in which everybody can recognize and empathize with. But I'm always hearing in the fitness space people talking to busy moms, busy dads. And I think when you say the term mom or dad, that busy is implied. So now that I say all that, I think I just need to go back and edit out that part that I said busy. Because I have not been too busy. It just has not been a priority. And honestly, another big reason why I haven't been recording recently is because I honestly forgot the reason I started this YouTube channel and this podcast. But I had to remind myself that recording these means so much more to me. I've mentioned multiple times on here that I am recording these because I want to do my best to be able to give back and help dads and be able to give them value and lead them in a successful direction in their fitness and health and nutrition through my frame of being a trainer for over 15 years. But ultimately, I wanted to, and I still want to, and I continue to want to, build a video library of life lessons for my daughter to be able to eventually come across. I imagine every parent feels this way, but I don't believe there's a long enough life that I can live alongside my daughter where I get to share every single experience that I've had in my life that I want to help teach as lessons to her as she continues to grow up. The more experiences I have throughout my life give me a deeper understanding of things behind what my parents told me and what my parents' parents told them. And because you love your children more than anything on this planet, and because you only want what is ultimately the best for them, better than you ever had, that I couldn't imagine being able to share every single lesson with her over the next 50 years. So if I know I'm not going to have that opportunity, the second best thing I can do is record myself talking in a microphone for her to hopefully be able to return to and understand a little bit more about why her mom and I made the decisions that we did and the reasons we are the people that we are and how cool we were at one point, and hopefully she can take some positive things from it. And if God forbid tomorrow is my last day on earth and my daughter only has these videos to remember me by when she grows up, that's the reason I started doing this. And that's what I have to continue to remind myself when I tell myself I'm too busy to go record. Well, I'll tell you, I didn't expect to get there this evening, but here we are. I did want to run through dads who are introducing jumps back into their training. Everybody I work with, we jump variously, jump off of 2 legs, jump off of 1 leg, jump for height, jump for distance, do it very consistently, get a lot of really good exposures to the lower body with jumps and intentional jumps. And most of the individuals, when reintroducing jumping, haven't jumped a ton in the last couple of years. So I always take a specific approach with returning to jumping. And let's go over what that looks like real quick. So I have taken the principles from physical therapy with the end goal of the return to play process being just that, return to play. If we as dads are actively playing in recreational sports or trying to get back into playing in recreational sports after not jumping for a while, then we might as well take the same approach to be able to build strength and resiliency through our tissues and tendons that will allow us to jump frequently, pain-free. And the way to do that is to work through the 4-stage rehab process. So, number one, the place you're going to start, and this is where, if we're talking about individuals coming back from injuries, this is where they would always start. But we are talking about introducing jumps back in without saying day one of the program is 5x5 box jumps, and you try to throw a 24-inch box and jump up onto it after not doing jumps for 3 years. Might end up just fine, might not. Might be okay for a little bit, might bother us down the road. So this is a great path to follow to be able to get back to where you can jump pain-free without worrying about getting injured as you're doing it. So stage one is going to be isometrics. This is where you're going to get yourself in a position and you're going to hold that position for a long duration of time. The go-to isometric that I like to use is a split squat iso, or a knee extension. These are both going to focus on your quads. A lot of times, jump volume is going to show up in our calf, our Achilles, but also our quads. That's where when you introduce a massive spike of plyometrics, that's why a lot of individuals will get jumper's knee, just from a spike in jump volume. So you really want to focus on strengthening the quads and the tissues and tendons around the knee. So lunge iso is going to be great. 30 seconds is a great place to start. My prescription is always up to 5 minutes on each side. If you can do 5 minutes in a strict split squat iso straight through, you are an absolute savage. But you're going to work up to 5 minutes on each side, anywhere between 1 and 3 times a day. Really like hamstring isos, really like calf isos as well. But we want to make sure we're taking care of the foot, the ankle, the calf, the Achilles, the knee. And a lot of those boxes will get checked in the split squat iso, especially if you push into that front toe and float your heel in that split squat iso, then it's going to get foot, calf, and Achilles. Great all-around iso to start. So we're going to do that for a couple sessions a week, a couple times a day. Even when we're not training in the gym, we can do those when we're outside of the gym. No equipment needed. Couple sessions or a few weeks there, we're then going to move on to lifting. So full range of motion lifting. And obviously because the lower body is what's helping propel us vertically in the air, we're going to squat and we're going to hinge. This is where most people who are no longer playing high-level sports but still working out, this is where most people do a pretty good job in the strength training area. So you're doing split squats, you're doing RDLs, you're doing Bulgarian split squats. This is what you're going to see most people doing, and most people stay there right at stage 2. We're going to move on from there into our plyometrics. So training the ability of the tissues and tendons to store and release energy. We've talked about plyos a few times, but you're going to look into the short ground contact time exercises like hops and sprints. You're going to dose in some of the longer ground contact time exercises like box jumps and broad jumps. You're going to jump variously for height, for distance, off of one leg, off of two legs, laterally, forward, backward. You just want to be exposed to all of those movements that you will then be seeing in your recreational sport or, again, dads in life. So once we've made it through those 3 stages, this is where individuals who are hurt would then be cleared to start doing returning to play, return to competition type training with their team. We just want to use this process to make sure that we're checking off all the important boxes we need checked off before we start adding a crazy demand of jumps outside of our training routine. So if you are currently just stuck in stage 2 lifting, but you're interested in pursuing sports, recreational, or you're interested in being able to run and jump and play and throw and crawl and chase with your kids, if that's something you don't feel super comfortable doing currently, introduce stage 1 for a pretty decent amount of time and then work your way up to stage 3, understanding that stage 2 is really the space that you have kind of figured out. If you do currently feel good with all of that, but you just don't want to lose the ability to be springy and jump and to sprint, then start working in isos and start working in plyos, and that will help allow your training and physical pursuits outside of the gym have much more longevity to them. Isos always stay in the program. Strength training always stays in the program. Plyos always stay in the program. That's why individuals who I work with through the Athletic Dad Transformation Program and individuals who run the Athletic Dad Training Program and the individuals that I work with in person are able to express qualities like vertical jump and speed and strength and power and force all the time, all year round, because all 4 of the stages of the return to play rehab process are in our training daily. So if you're looking for a training program that gives you your athleticism back after playing high school or college sports, and you've been a dad for a while, and you want to get back into training like an athlete, let me know. Send me a DM on Instagram, and we can get you set up. We can get you rolling. We can also help you get that athletic physique back. And we all know the people who look the best with their shirts off at the pool train athletically because they have a specific physique that you can tell that they can express athleticism. I appreciate y'all again taking the time to listen to the podcast. Thanks, G, for the push. Thanks, Augie, for the inspiration. Thank Mom for being able to hold it down in the evening so I can come down and record these. I'm just a dad out here trying to do my best. So if you know a dad who you think can get value and benefit from these podcasts, please send them their way. You want to talk? You can find me on Instagram at The Athletic Dad. the.athletic.dad. And if you want help changing your life on your fitness journey, send me a DM and let's get this thing going. Like always, continue to practice gratitude. Tell the people you love that you love them, and live your life stimulated. If you're not stimulated enough, check out some Vice pouches. Athletic Dad, 10% off at checkout. We'll see y'all in the next episode.